Now, it's just coming up to 20 to 7. The NHS Trust boss responsible for Stoke Mandeville Hospital has been criticised for telling an MP that Jimmy Savile was not given free access to clinical areas.
BBC News has obtained an email written by Anne Eden in which she makes the assurances. It's the latest revelation after a report published yesterday concluded that Savile assaulted more than 60 patients at the hospital.
Well, some lessons could still be learnt from the Savile reports. Dr Gallagher is a child protection expert from the University of Huddersfield. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I suppose the first question is, how have things changed?
I think things have changed enormously over the last few decades. Principally, we're much more aware of the dangers of child abuse, basically, and also assaults against adults, for that matter. I think agencies are much more committed also and more skilled at investigating and dealing with these cases also. So things have changed very significantly.
Has the culture of reporting suspicion changed, though?
I think there is more preparedness and a recognition of the importance of reporting. But, you know, we do still get instances of where, you know, major concerns aren't being reported to the appropriate agencies.
And how do you attempt to change that? Because we've heard from the reports that came out yesterday, lots of testimony from staff who knew there was a significant problem, knew that something was going on, but were not able to report it or felt under pressure to not report it. How do you change that attitude?
Well, a lot of people, as you're probably aware, have been calling for a mandatory reporting law, whereby professionals in particular have a legal duty to report abuse. I'm quite unsure about that, really, and I certainly don't think it's the silver bullet or the panacea that people claim it is. I think what's more important is to change the culture whereby people, particularly those working with children, are aware or made aware of the, you know, great importance actually of reporting these concerns.
One of the areas a lot of people are worried about is how much lip service is paid, how much formality there is around structures and documents saying we will be more careful, and then in practice something else happens. Now, draw attention to this email the BBC has obtained, which is the Chief Executive Officer, Anne Eden, from the hospital, who as recently as 2012 was sending out emails saying Jimmy Savile didn't have free access to the hospital and there was a procedure, you know, that was protecting children. Now, that was only, what, 2.5 years ago. The Chief Executive Officer, who is still in place now. And a lot of people might think that's symptomatic of, on the one hand, you know, the organisation saying, we do take action, we have procedures, when in practice, either they're trying to fudge things and not deal with the reality of what goes on the wards.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real concern, this breaking story, basically. And indeed, there's been lots of instances in other organisations where reports haven't been properly handled. So I think while we are handling sexual offences much better now, it's really important to bear in mind we've still got some way to go, basically, and still some people aren't taking it with the seriousness that it merits.
So why not make it a legal requirement then?
Well, there's lots of different arguments, but one of the major arguments against mandatory reporting is that agencies might get flooded with concerns, basically, and it makes it even more difficult for them to investigate the genuine ones because they'll have a lot of unfounded ones coming in. And I'll also say about mandatory reporting, while it does need to be debated, mandatory reporting, better investigation, more detection, all of it is a bit useless in a way, because it's, you know, shutting the door after the horse has bolted. We've got to try and prevent sexual offences from occurring in the first place.
Dr Gallagher, thank you very much for your time this morning.
You're welcome.
The University of Huddersfield, inspiring tomorrow's professionals.